So today we'll be learning about the distributive property. So go ahead and title your paper, The Distributive Property. And we're going to write what the distributive property is. The distributive property lets you multiply a sum or difference by multiplying each term separately. So we are, in a sense, you distribute the multiplication. Now, if you need to press pause right now to get it all written down, go ahead and press pause. When you're ready, press play to continue so you can see what does this actually mean. Okay, so let's look at what this means, and we're going to use letters. Hopefully you remember that fancy word for letters in math is just variables. So we're going to start with some variables here for our example. So we're going to say A times, remember parentheses just means times, B plus C. So think about if someone brought donuts to the class and you wanted to distribute those donuts, you got to go to everyone. You can't leave anyone out. And when we distribute, we're going to multiply. So I'm going to pass out a donut to this B person. A times B. And now remember, when we write multiplication with variables, we just write them touching. We don't have to put a multiplication symbol. But we don't leave anyone out. Everybody wants a donut. So we got to go to the C and we got to do A times C. And we leave our symbol the same. So we're adding A times B plus A times C. Now it works the same way if you start in the back. So B plus C times A. You must always go back to the front. We always start at the front of the class. So you got to go distribute yourself to B. A times B plus A times C. Now that's very, very, very important. You always got to distribute to the first thing in the parentheses. That's the first thing you do. It doesn't matter that it's in the back. You can't skip it. You got to go all the way to the front. But what about if we had subtraction? Let's try this with subtraction. A times B minus C. Guess what? It's going to work the same way. A times B. Got to go to everything. We don't leave anything out. A times C. And we keep whatever sign is in the middle. This would also work with a variable in the back. So B minus C times A. You must go to the front. You will not get the same answer if you do not. So you got to go to the B. A times B is AB. A times C. And then keep the sign the same. You must go to that front number. Now we're going to do a couple examples with actual numbers, not variables. So it might make a little bit more sense once we start doing those examples with numbers. So we're going to do two examples right here with numbers. Let's try 3 times x plus y. So I've got to distribute that 3 to everything. 3 goes to the x, and I get 3x. 3 times x. Remember, we don't have to write the multiplication symbol, just put them side by side when you're working with variables. And 3 times y. 3y. And we keep our sign the same. And this would be our distributed answer. Okay, let's try one more here. Our next example, 4 times z minus 8. Once again, you got to go 4 times z is 4z. 4 times 8 is 32, and we keep our sign the same. So 4z minus 32. I'm going to do one more with you actually before I send you off to try an example. So let's try one that looks like this. X minus 2 times 5. It doesn't matter that this is in the back. You still have to take it all the way to the front to get 5x, and then to the 2 to get 10. And we keep our sign in the middle. 5x minus 10. So we're just distributing that multiplication. Now we're going to try a few extra problems. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to draw myself a line here to separate those rules and examples. And then I am going to divide this into a few sections here. I'm going to divide it into 6 boxes to finish up our notes. So it looks like this. So at this time, to try your first example, so you can go ahead and we'll start it here. Go ahead and click Next to begin your next example.